stuff. Like, she gets Nightcrawler, or she, like, saves him from this, like, mutant fight club thing, sort of. And then NC. Then we go do a couple other things. Then we come back to her. Oh, she's talking with this one guy who's going to be not really important, but just kind of introduce Psylocke. NC is like, okay, well, why weren't those scenes together? They didn't need to be separated as they were. This movie is just...
I have a question. Why did Caliban, the guy you were just referring to, why did he keep speaking to himself in third person?
That's how Caliban talks.
I was about to say, that kind
Caliban,
of thing in the comics.
It's also, if I'm not mistaken, kind of a play upon Caliban from The Tempest. If I'm not mistaken, Caliban from The Tempest, he was not exactly very intelligent. He wasn't all there. So he spoke a little funny, and I think he would always refer to himself as the... In fact, I want to say one of the lines was something, you may have mistreated thee, but I still love thee, or something. I'm butchering The Tempest. But pretty much he's always speaking about himself, and he talks in third person. Caliban in the comic books is just...
basically Bizarro.
Not exactly. Because he's intelligent. He just, for some odd reason, talks to himself in third person. I don't know why.
Talks about himself in third person?
Mm-hmm.
You said talks to himself.
And he also talks to himself. Of course, you gotta talk to yourself in the third person. Yeah, that's Caliban's kind of quirk. He's a measure of like time or energy or something like that. But yeah, and I will say that's another thing. They throw in a lot of different people. You get Psylocke out of nowhere. You get Storm out of nowhere. You get Caliban. You get Angel, who becomes Archangel just because. Pretty much it's just because, oh, I can now fly again. Even though in the original comics, if I'm not mistaken, when Apocalypse changed Angel into Archangel, it was incredibly painful, and originally Angel was against it. And it seemed very painful. I wouldn't figure to be like, oh, you gave me wings again. I'm totally going to go with you, dude. Mm. And it's weird that out of all the different people, like Apocalypse recruits to become his four horsemen, as we all know, it's Magneto, Psylocke, Archangel, and Storm. Yeah. Storm is pointless in this movie. She is just there to shoot stuff every now and then. And to get white hair. I mean, Internet Storm doesn't serve a purpose.
That's another thing. He enhances Storm's ability. She gets white hair. He does something to Angel and I guess kind of enhances his ability or something.
He gets his wings back and now he can shoot his feathers and they become blades.
Like, he's doing something at one point to him, and then, like, Angel also has...
Yeah, he also has his... He has this thing on his face. He always had blonde hair. Well, it's kind of bluish, but... Yeah, in the comics, when he changed, he became blue. But he doesn't stay, like, very blue.
There are a lot of blue characters in comic books.
Mm-hmm. That's because blue is, you know, a rich kind of color. Yeah. But oh well. But you were going on about the people changing.
Yeah. Psylocke supposedly had her powers enhanced and she got to keep her dark hair. I think
she had purple in it.
Well, still. Yeah, Magneto I think was enhanced by Apocalypse. Or Apocalypse showed him like his true full potential or something.
I think he technically enhanced him by allowing him actually to be able to grab more of the metal that's in the earth itself, because plot point, make Apocalypse wants to destroy the world. Who'd have thunk it? I mean, I knew that was going to happen eventually, but I don't know. Again, another issue with the schizophrenic pacing of this movie, where we can't let a scene flow evenly and very well. It feels like there's a lot of crap being thrown at us. We get the Apocalypse crap, then we get the Mystique crap, then we get this stuff, then we get this stuff, then we get this stuff. It's like, stay still.
One thing I really wondered while we were watching the movie, it didn't really bug me then, and like now more I think about it, it's like,
yeah.
Well, it's like, what exactly was Apocalypse's plan? Like, I know,
destroy the world.
I know he's wanting to destroy the world. Obviously, leave himself and his followers alive, but it's like, okay.
Apocalypse's ideals are the survival of the strongest. He believes whoever would pretty much live through his created apocalypse should be the only ones that should be allowed to live. That is unfortunately something you have to read the comics to understand. I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for. They just failed at it in the movie. Mostly because they had 14,000 more characters they had to cram in.
Yeah, because one chair's like, okay, is he trying to leave, like, only the mutants alive? Or, like, only mutants and, like, some of the humans to, like, bow down and worship him?
It's just the survival of the fittest.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
they didn't really go too terribly much into that. Didn't really explain that very well.
They kind of explained that he believed that only the strong should have the world.
Yeah, but they didn't mention that as part of his plan. They just...
he kept preaching about it. You worship false gods and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, going on about how we're too reliant on our tools and weapons and whatnot.
Yeah. This is a mess of a movie. And that's the worst part. It's like, this is a movie where you can see there were decent ideas and producers got involved, the studio got a lot involved, and because of that, this movie got chopped up, got crap added to it, it got stuffed with so many sausages. And it's strangely a kind of hard to follow movie because, one, it's edited very strangely, just cut here, cut there, cut here, cut there. Let's throw this scene here instead of putting it there, even though it doesn't make sense there. That's your honor there. And then there's some scenes where it's like, well, why is that even here? And then you probably watch the lead scenes and go, why is this in there? But, sorry, my nose is itching. I think that pretty much the reason why we had to have a Jubilee, why we had to have Psylocke, why we had to have Caliban, why we had all these different mutants just thrown in. I mean, people really, really give X-Men Last Stand a lot of shit. And I will admit, it's not a perfect movie. It's far from a perfect movie. There are quite a few issues here and there. Like the just random, oh, here's a bunch of bad guys, we're just going to throw them in there. That is random, and guess what? They do it here. Storm's just only a bad guy. I mean, yes, we know she's eventually going to be a good guy, and we saw from trailers she's probably going to be a bad guy. But she's just introduced, that's it. And just done. Storm's gone. Or she's just kind of there in the background. Psylocke is introduced. They just say her name like 2 or 3 times. I think Olivia Munn has 4 lines in the movie, which is fine because Olivia Munn can't act. Archangel has 3 lines, I'm pretty sure, and one of them's piss off. The main one of the horsemen who has lines is Michael Fassbender, who unfortunately, I guess Bryan Singer forgot how to direct because every time you see him, he's just mouth open, staring off into space. It's like, what in the world are you doing, Michael? Pay attention. Come on, eyes focus. And also, you have Quicksilver in here again. He's here to do another fast scene because we didn't see enough of that in the last movie. Other than that, he doesn't add anything to the movie. He's pointless.
He had some comedy.
He didn't have anything that was funny. It was like if you took all the jokes from Batman vs. Superman and gave them to Quicksilver. So pretty much, Quicksilver had like 2 funny lines. And most of it was just stuff like, thanks. Or it's like, shut up, shut up, shut up. He wasn't very funny. And that's the worst part, is like, they wanted to make Quicksilver funny. It's like, that's kind of, first of all, not really Quicksilver in a way. Which I'm not going to get too argumentative about it because technically Tony Stark in the comic books wasn't exactly the most hilarious guy in the world. Not until Iron Man 1 and 2 came out. where Robert Downey Jr. just killed it. But I don't mind you changing that bit of the character. But it would be one thing for them to be funny if it was in a good way. He's not very funny in a good way. He just every now and then says a pun or says some, oh, isn't that a shucksy little funny thing I said? Yucky, yucky, yuck. It's just, it's like juvenilely stupid. It's like half the stuff that Bryan Singer stuck in Superman Returns that didn't work in terms of jokes. Which I barely remember because I slipped through most of that movie because it's boring.
I have if you want to watch it again.
Nah, I don't need Ambien. I'm good. Yeah, there's... I mean, I wish I could sit there and try and say what happens from scene to scene to scene. But first of all, it bounces all over the place. You can't follow this movie very good because it can't decide what it wants to do. There's literally nothing for the first hour of this movie except for just exposition, characters doing stuff because characters do stuff. There's plot holes because now suddenly Jean has met Wolverine. Yes, Wolverine's in this movie, and it is Hugh Jackman. And it's supposed to be a big shock. It's like, well, you probably should have put it in your trailer. Because we saw it in the trailer. I mean, it is a bit of a shock that it like shows like fingers chopped off from guys and blood splattered. Though it's not really rated R, so it's just light little... But it opens up a whole... It's like, oh, I gave him his name. Wait, if you supposedly you're the one that wouldn't he have remembered you, then wait, what? It just makes an issue of why wouldn't he have remembered her from in the first movie? Maybe because Bryan Singer is no good fucking writer. I won't say the same guy who wrote this wrote Days of Future Past, which I had a lot of problems with. Though I thought Days of Future Past was just more mediocre than was bad. This was outright bad. This is intolerably unwatchable. Like right now, second worst movie I've watched this year. And it's going to go with it, one of the worst comic book movies I've watched. Just, it's a mess. I mean, it's exactly what people feared whenever comic book movies were going to start becoming big. Or that they were going to just be mindless, just random crap and fan service for the sake of fan service, which is what some of this felt like. And ultimately, I didn't care. And it didn't help. Again, this is set in the past. If we've already seen what happens thanks to the end of Days of Future Past, we know all these characters could be alive. Well, except the ones that are just newly introduced. Well, we know Storm's fine. We know Beast's fine. We know Charles Xavier's fine. We know everyone is alive. So there's no drama. We don't worry about them. Yeah, I mean, would you be scared about Magneto dying even though we know he's going to be alive, obviously?
Well, not like his life was ever in danger for me to worry about that. So.
Well, I'm talking about in this movie. Or from this movie.
I know, that's what I'm talking about too. It's like, he wasn't really in danger in this movie.
So why did we even need to have a climax? Why did we even need this movie? That's the worst thing I say. Why does this movie exist?
I think it's more about Magneto joining the side of the good guys again.
But why do we need that? We
I don't
took
know.
an entire movie.
I liked it. I liked the movie, and you clearly didn't. Although... you liked it more than you thought you did, admit it.
No, I didn't. I hated this piece of shit.
I
would rather have watched Alice Through the Looking Glass. And I hated Alice in Wonderland. Because at least Alice in the Looking Glass, like, it looks colorful. It looks like everybody's still acting like they are on drugs. Which kind of works, strangely. Mm-hmm. Though, the first one had the problem of everybody was constitute except for Johnny Depp. What you're saying?
Well, I was gonna say it seems like everyone's acting like they're high.
Yeah, I'm about to say it sort of works, but I mean
mushrooms and like caterpillar smoking.
Oh yeah, I don't recommend smoke the good weed. But I didn't like this movie. I mean, you're trying to insist I didn't. It's like, no, I didn't.
I'm not saying that you liked it. I'm saying you liked it a bit more than you.
No, I didn't. I am saying straight up
what I'm feeling. You were
laughing
at a few parts.
I was laughing at people dying because it was hilarious. I was laughing whenever, like, Apocalypse shows up. He has this thing on his head. It's funny looking, and it's not supposed to be. It's meant to be, it's actually really funny. I laughed at stuff that I wasn't supposed to be laughing at. And the stuff I was supposed to be laughing at, I was just going. Or like one thing, I think, I can't even remember what it is. Quicksilver said, I went, huh. That's the most laugh he got out of me. A slight chuckle, if even that. I mean, this is just, it's not an enjoyable movie. That's the worst part. And again, I hate to compare it to, that we keep comparing all the other comic book movies to this year, which is Captain America, which is a movie that's full of a lot of characters. And I felt like I did get to know a lot of these characters. I didn't feel like I was getting introduced to every single one of them, except for Baron Zemo, which is fine. He was supposed to be introduced in this one. Or in Captain America Civil War. You know, that's the reason why I was fine with that. And yes, I know Captain America did that. But then there's Deadpool as well, which I can compare this to. I think that really connects in a way. Yes, Deadpool's supposed to be more a comedy than an action movie. But even as an action movie, I cared more about its climax. I was actually more invested about Deadpool's pretty much simple revenge plot. I cared about him getting his girl back. This, I didn't care about anybody. I was like, I don't care what happens. I don't care. Why should I? Why is Jubilee in here? She's a 90s character. She was introduced in the 90s. There's no reason to have her here. Or like late 80s. But still. I didn't give one flying fuck about any of this. And it's like, you lost me. I don't care if all of the Fox X-Men rights, including Deadpool and everything, go back to Disney. As long as Disney's still doing Deadpool rated R, if they're going to do more Deadpools, I'm fine with that. Fox has lost it. Last X-Men movie, Days of Future Past, was insanely boring and just added nothing to everything. I mean, honestly, it's like, that movie doesn't need to exist, except for supposedly to fix the wrongs of Last Stand, which I thought was actually pretty decent. It's like, people hate that movie. It's like, it's not the worst movie in the world. It's a lot worse. This is one of them. And it is funny that if you think about it, this is supposed to be kind of their X-Men Last Stand. Sorry, my throat's gone.
Well, like if you'll remember, as they were leaving Return of the Jedi, we all just agreed. He's vegan.
Yeah, they really shit on 3, and it's like, 3's better than yours.
Well, actually, this is the third one. Because you have First Class, Days of Future Past, and now Apocalypse.
But what I'm saying is they're trying to make a jab against Last Stand. Again, Last Stand's better than this. Last Stand was better than frickin' Days of Future Past, which was just a pointless movie. I know people are going, yes, it was. Stuff actually happened. Because Days of Future Past was a pointless movie. Just like half that movie was just nothing.
Why don't you tell us how you really feel, honey?
What?
Kitty's opinion.
Kitty, I guess, disagrees with me. Or no, she's grand. Come here, baby.
She won now.
Yeah, I'll let her out in a second. But, yeah, it's surprising just how much... This proves to me that Bryan Singer can't direct. He lost it after Superman Returns. Like, people were really hailing him coming back to... Future First Class was so awful, and Last Stand was the worst movies ever. Last Stand was pretty good. I mean, not the greatest movie in the world, but it is what it is. First Class was really good. Probably one of the best X-Men movies. I'd say better than 2. Shit happened in it. And it felt like the world was at stake. Then Days of Future Past happened. Okay, whoopee, that was pointless. And then this train wreck happened, and ugh, just hate this. It's so awful. I think.
So I want to wrap things up.
Yeah. So if you're gonna give it a score, what are you gonna give it?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I think I'd give it like a 7 or an 8.
So 7.5 for you, or what? You give everything the same score.
I'll go with 7.
You're being charitable. It's just steaming
I liked
pile
it.
of dog poo. This is such a pointless movie. This is a pointless movie following up to a pointless movie, and somehow this is worse. I guess I do need to give a number, huh? 2. 2 middle fingers, that's what it gets. Because fuck you, movie. Fuck you, Bryan Singer, because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of your movies that have no point. That drag ass for no reason and just waste my time. If I want a 2.5 hour long movie, I want there to be some action. I want there to be some drama. I want there to be character development. I don't want to feel like you're just sceners throwing exposition at me and showing how much you love the comic books by throwing in random characters and just shoving them in as hard as possible without making sure they fit. So, fuck you, Bryan Singer. So, ta-da.